And I just want to say welcome, everyone. I'm going to hand it over to Sandra in a minute. And before that, let's see if the program office wants to make any announcement.
Hi, this is Annie Becker from the CAE PMO office. Just would like to say a reminder for the annual report submission. They're due January 15th. So you should have received the notification for that, as long as instructions to set up the account through the new tool. And then also just a follow up that we are focusing on the backlog of applications. So we are working to get through that. So please be patient with us, and we'll notify your institution as soon as we start getting the approvals for that as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Annie. And just a reminder that those of you who are in the pilot all the way to cycle 7 are not required. Is that right, Annie? To submit?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Confirmation of that. Okay, wonderful. With that said, Sandra, it's your show. Sandra and Gretchen, sorry, Gretchen is also here. She's been doing all the scheduling and all the hard work. So thank you, Gretchen, for that. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sandra Blank. I'm from the University of Dallas, and welcome to our Getting to Know Your Fellow CAE presentations this afternoon. For our presenters, we'll ask you to present in the order that we have you listed. So Eric is first, and then Sharon, and then Arthur. And then, as Yair was talking about, we have breakout rooms that when you hear topics that you want more information on, then that'll help you to decide which breakout room to go in after the 3 presentations. And we just look forward to these presentations. So presenters, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share and ask Eric to go ahead and share your screen. And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and provide your presentation. If presenters can take approximately 10 minutes apiece, then we'll go into the breakout rooms after that.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon. Can you all hear me and see my slides? Okay, great. Yes. So I'm Eric Chantin from Loyola University, Chicago. We were designated just last year in 2020. And our POS is our Bachelor in Cybersecurity, which is housed in the Department of Computer Science. And the 3 goals that we have for our degree is to security provision, operate and maintain, and protect and defend. So our Bachelor in Cybersecurity curriculum was just revamped, so it was kind of modified based on needs of students, also changing landscape. So these are the courses we have. So we have an Intro to Computer Security, which had just been offered the first time last spring. And that just provides a breadth of everything from crypto to network security to election security, anonymity, and so on. And then after that, that's like our gateway security class. Then after that, every student can do a deep dive in each of the topics that we have, like forensics, IDS, network security, wireless security, computer vulnerabilities. And all our undergraduate students have to complete a practicum requirement. And this requires 6 credit hours, which is usually 2 classes of either an independent study or an internship. Internship is pretty straightforward what it means. Independent study used to be that they have to do a research project with an instructor. And since it's cybersecurity, so starting this semester, I've actually allowed students to use their independent study to participate in Capture the Flags or to get a certifications. So usually I would count 3 credit hours as 150 hours of work, which comes out to be roughly 10 hours per semester. But knowing students, they usually kind of put everything at the end rather than the beginning. So for certifications, I'm counting it as 50 hours of work, provided that they do pass the certification. So I haven't had anybody fail, so I haven't had to deal with this issue. Again, this is the first semester we're doing it, so hopefully I don't have to deal with it. But it's just a way to get students, to get more hands-on practice in cybersecurity. What our next POS could be, again, starting this semester, we now have a cybersecurity concentration in our Masters in Computer Science. And we have in the works a PhD in Computer Science, which we're hoping will get approved for fall 23. If we're lucky and there's not much red tape, maybe fall 22, but I'm thinking probably going to be in 2 years. Okay, so what are Loyola's specialty and expertise? My expertise are more in anonymity, privacy, and distributed systems. But we have a few faculty who are working on machine learning or related, such as adversarial machine learning, deep learning. And then we have a couple of faculty members working more on computer science education, but I started working with them and kind of trying to focus more on cybersecurity education as well. In terms of grants, this year has been very successful for the department. This is just the grants that we received in the past couple of years, but just this year we have 6 external grants. They all research, so we have a couple that were due to, and I think you can see if I highlight them here, due to our designations, so from the NCAE office and the DoD. We also got a couple from industry. So we have a Motorola Solutions Foundation Award to fund 5 undergraduate students to basically participate in cybersecurity competitions. And this was just last month. We got one from the Dr. Scholl Foundation, which I guess I thought they only do shoes, but they do other stuff. Which is, I wanted to highlight this because this is very interdisciplinary. So we have me, from computer science on this project. We also have people from psychology, criminal justice, and political science. And we're trying to look at why people spread misinformation on social media. And we're trying to get away from, we're not trying to detect misinformation, but we're more trying to understand why they click that share link versus reading it first, trying to figure it out. So I have a few minutes, so I'll keep going. So other grants that I'm interested in. So we hear a lot about, cybersecurity certificates, like CompTIA, Security Plus, EC Council, CH, and so on. And I get a lot of students asking me, is it useful? Is it not useful? Should they spend that, few $100s on that? And I don't know. I've talked to security professionals, so those who've been in the industry for a few years, and they all tell me it's only to get past HR. Because what a piece of paper is not going to tell everybody what you know. And a lot of them is multiple choice questions. So it's not practice, although there are some that are more you have to do a test. So are we doing our students a service by telling them, or by us partnering with CompTIA, tell them to take Security Plus or A Plus, Network Plus, or is it just a waste of money? So basically, if if Google gets two applicants that look exactly the same, right? Same GPA, same experience. One is a Security Plus certificate, the other one does not. Is that going to make a difference in who they hire? So that's what I'm interested in answering. And then also, I think we all think the same, but how do we get cybersecurity, earlier at an earlier age rather than, as an afterthought? So I'm currently changing our curriculum. I know we just changed it for this year, but I'm trying us to be more interdisciplinary. So I trying to put some criminal justice courses related to cybercrime as part of our cybersecurity curriculum. And I'm also trying to get our cybersecurity course to be part of the core for the Loyola. So meaning every student that is getting a bachelor degree from our university would need to take a cybersecurity course. This has been kind of an uphill battle because everybody wants them to be core, including theology or history, which anyway, I won't get into that. And do we partner with the schools? So it's just from the slides I'm copying. Yes, we had 2 NSF awards, one with Oklahoma State University, and we actually have 2 NSF awards collaboration with Purdue University. So what gaps we have? Right now, our courses are more focused on network security, anonymity, and forensics. We don't have too much on SCADA, which I think is getting a bit more popular considering everything that's been happening in the past year. With the hardware, low-level security, we also don't have anybody. Web security, privacy, and we also don't have anything that is kind of non-technical cybersecurity. So this includes policies, governance, risk, law. Like our business school has a partnership with, I think Sandra, I think it's with the University of Dallas, but it could be University of Texas at Dallas, I'm not sure. But which is kind of like, why don't you partner with us? Because we don't have those non-technical courses. Okay, what could we use help with? So we receive a DoD grant to host a set of workshops on cybersecurity targeted to educators starting in spring 2022. This is targeted mostly for educators who are not familiar with cybersecurity. So you can think of, maybe your math professor or your history, or like probably not a cybersecurity instructor. But we're targeting for 4 years, 2 years in high school. And the goal of these workshops is to raise awareness on cybersecurity. So they're going to be very basic, 2-hour workshops. For example, the first workshop could just be covering the CIA principles, talk a little bit about threat model and some common attacks. So try to get the participants to start thinking like an adversary and what can be done. So we haven't started advertising yet, but once we start, probably I need some help to get enough people to participate. Yeah, so I mentioned that already, and I think my 10 minutes are up. So thank you for your time. And I don't know if I can do questions, so we can do, wait for the breakout room.
Hey, thanks, Eric. We'll wait for the breakout room for questions. And so I think you just stopped your share. So if we can get Sharon and them to share your screens now, that would be good.
All right, thank you very much. We'll give this a go. Yeah, I think that's the one. I just have to enable all of the Mac security preferences now. Just a moment.
While we're waiting on that, I want to remind everyone that I pasted in the chat area the community of practice link. Those of you who came late, I'm going to reshare that. You're welcome to review the other initiatives that we're working on, as well as the prior events that this initiative was running. These are all recorded, and we ask you to participate and provide us feedback at the post-event surveys for each one.
I do apologize because of the max security settings, going to have to leave the meeting briefly and reopen Zoom. So I'll be right back.
Unless Mike, can you share your screen?
Yeah, let me give a whack at that.
Make Mike Badig the co-host and be able to share his screen.
I think I already did.
Okay.
How's that? Can you see it?
Here you go.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Please let me have a moment just to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Hugh Reid from Norwich University, and we're actually going to have this as a little bit of a team effort for our presentation today. That way, you know, there's 3 people to blame if something goes wrong, I suppose. So myself, Dr. Sharon Hamilton, and Dr. Batik, who's very kindly, spur of the moment, taken on the role of managing the slides here. So Norwich University is the nation's oldest private military college based in Northfield, Vermont, so central Vermont. Had to pull the blinds down behind me today. It's a little snowy and quite nice blue skies out there, but it'd be a bit bright back there. The home of ROTC, so this is why you see me in this delightful uniform, which I really enjoy wearing every day coming into work. Okay, Mike, would you mind advancing the slide, please? All right, thank you very much. So in terms of our current validated program of study, we've actually just gone through a revalidation thanks to a colleague who's not on the call. Credit to Dr. Matthew Bovid for really pulling everything together. I was lead on it last time in 2016, 2017, so I'm very familiar with just how much effort it takes to go through it. So as of right now, because our revalidation is going through as we speak, we're currently validated in our Bachelor of Science in Computer Security and Information Assurance major, or CSIA as we prefer to call it. We have 2 concentrations in that program. There's digital forensics, and that's my speciality. I'm one of the digital forensics professors here, so that's my passion. And that's the one that we put up for designation. We also have an information assurance management concentration, which is also validated as well. The program focus for that in digital forensics, there's, I think, 4 or 5 specialist digital forensics classes, from our computer forensics sort of 101 class, a network forensics class, malware forensics, advanced forensics, which focuses on acquiring and analyzing data from things like mobile phones and other unusual devices, IoT devices, games, consoles, and stuff like that. And I think those are the main, and cyber investigation as well, of course, how to go through and manage a course. Mike, would you mind advancing the slide, please? Thank you. In terms of what we're looking at trying to do next, we do have a couple of other programs that have been running for a number of years. These are not new programs. They've been running for several years here at the university. So we're looking at putting up as we go through this renewal process, also renewing the other concentration path, information assurance management I mentioned earlier. Norwich University also has a very active online program, the Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity, and likewise the Master of Science as well. And we would like to put those through as well. The online program and the on-campus program are very similar in scope, and we're looking at trying to bring those closer together to provide more flexibility to students. In terms of research projects or research interests, some of the main things you can see on the screen there, we're very keen as an undergraduate institution, really trying to give our undergrad students a good experience of undergrad research. Certainly for myself, and maybe for many others on the call, maybe that was a thing that sort of inspired us to become teachers, educators, academics, or pursue doctoral theses later on in life, was those sparks that were set up at that undergrad level to try and help with that piece. We're actually trialing, we have a new research conference that we're putting together for the first time, a pilot, which is at the moment exclusively for the 6 senior military colleges. And we're partnering Norwich University and the CIFO Research Centres partnering with the Cyber Institute's grants to help facilitate that. But that is really designed for the undergraduates to try and help inspire them to consider trying to help plug that gap that we have in the nation, which is, it's great with K through 12 outreach. We can get more and more youngsters interested in cyber coming into university, but who's going to teach them? You know, so that sort of ongoing piece, we feel that there is definitely a need in undergraduate programs to advertise the fact that you can go on, you know, going into education, going into a PhD program and becoming an academic is a very worthwhile piece. Okay, thank you, and I'll pass over.
Next slide, please. Hi, I'm Sharon Hamilton. I'm the Associate Vice President of Strategic Partnerships here at Norwich. And but most of my job is running several cyber grants, and we'll talk about some of those. I'm a retired Army intelligence colonel and late to the doctorate. Had my doctorate now for about 5 years. So what grants are we working on, or grants you want to collaborate with? I think a lot of you were listening to the meetings in November, and we talked about the evidence and competency oversight. And I'll talk on a future slide about that, but we coordinate with 3 other universities on that, 3 other CAEs. What Hugh mentioned was the DoD Senior Military College Pilot Program. And that one, we work with the other senior military colleges. That's Virginia Tech, Virginia Military Institute, Citadel, University of North Georgia, and Texas A&M. All but VMI are CAE schools. Under that, we actually have our Cyber Institute, and I'll talk more about that in the breakout session if people want to see that. We're working on a capacity building program, which is actually with the Vermont Air National Guard and with the Burlington International Airport in Vermont, trying to understand where the gaps are in their cybersecurity. And then Gen Cyber, yay, hit the button on that one. He's going to submit that one today. And
teacher camp,
and the focus will be on teacher camp for the first time. So we're really excited about that. And then we'll be available to talk more about the NSF Scholarship for Service that we do here in the breakout sessions. Next slide. So just going to dive a little bit into this. On the evidence and competency, I think you've heard in a few other forums, but we work with Vinnie Nestler at San Bernardino, Suzanne Wetzel at Stevens Institute, and Dan Manson, President Emeritus from Cal Poly Pomona. And again, our focus on that is being able to develop a competency framework so our students are going to be able to provide evidence of their competencies, to build an e-portfolio that says, not only here's the great things I learned in the course, but here's how I've actually put that into action. And it's going to better prepare them for that next step, which for most of them is to go into job interviews. And so I'd love to talk more about that in the breakout session. As I mentioned, the DoD Cyber Institute pilot program. It is a pilot program. It's not specifically a CAE funded program. We went separately, walked the halls of Congress and got our own appropriations. But thank you to Lynn Clark, because she protects our money once we get it from the vultures. And but it's a pilot program, and it's focused on building a pathway or a pipeline for our cyber graduates to work in Department of Defense as both civilian and military employees. Next slide.
All right, so I'm Mike Badig, and I work daily with Hugh and Sharon, and I'm the director of our undergraduate cyber school at Norwich. And I want to mention a few items. One, in terms of how we can enhance our program or work with you or get help from you. We're interested in outreach, as I mentioned here, in 2 dimensions. One, we are, as Sharon mentioned, starting K-12 outreach more directly, specifically to teachers, as opposed to just the many Gen Cyber camps that we've run in the past. We're also very open to helping any of you who are new to CAE or aspiring CAEs. We'd love to collaborate in terms of faculty expertise and talk about especially how we can do that during the summer. 2 projects that are really near and dear to my heart as the director. Number one, I'm championing a Cyber for All course on our campus over the next year or 2. The course development itself, that's the easy part. The hard part, of course, will be winning that land war in Asia known as the curriculum committee. And if any of you have some hints on helpful ways to do that, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear from you on the chat later. The other issue that matters a lot to me is faculty pipeline. You know, we talk a lot about in cyber institutes and our various grants, we're trying to address the pipeline shortage of cyber workers, but we all know that it gets much more severe once you start trying to hire PhDs. And I've got a couple of ideas on how to do that. One is those of you that either have or are getting ready to develop PhD programs. Eric, I'm thinking of you out there at Loyola. Don't forget about us in a few years. You know, we'd love to start talking to your PhD students, and hopefully they'll consider a great place like Norwich as a potential future home. Also, ideas on how to mentor our talented undergraduates who are interested in research and things of that nature, seeding the idea early on in their minds that becoming a faculty member can be a great lifestyle and in a really challenging and fun career. So those are a couple of things. Just a few things about us. These are a few of us, but we have 10 full-time faculty members, mostly tenure track, 1 senior level lecturer, and we are expanding. We're continuing to hire in the subsequent years. Our undergraduate enrollment in our residential program is about 300 students. We have about 200 in our online undergraduate program and about 60 in our master's. We became a new school in 2018, and we moved into a new building, which I'll show you in a second. Norwich itself has a very storied 202-year history and legacy. There's a lot I could say about that, but our engineering legacy has been around a long time, and it dates back to Major General Glenville Dodge. You may think of Dodge City, Kansas. That's because he was the chief engineer for the Transcontinental Railroad project. And as Hugh mentioned, we're the birthplace of ROTC. But more importantly than that, just down the road from us in central Vermont, Justin Morrill got the idea for the Morrill Act. He's a Vermonter, and he really got a lot of his ideas from our founder in terms of blending the liberal arts with engineering. And so really, in short, what I'm saying is this is a little school in Vermont that you've never heard of that's had a major national impact. And as one of my faculty members likes to say, we punch above our weight class. We have a lot of great students. We're an unusual place where we have a mixture of civilian students and students who are in the Corps of Cadet, which is really kind of makes it a fun place to teach. This is our new facility that opened in 2018. It houses our cyber school. It's about a 51,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility, and we're really, really happy to have it at a school of our size. It's really quite nice. So with that, I think our time's up. I'll wrap it up.
Okay, Michael, Sharon, and Hugh, thank you very much for that. Do we have author Salmon from Southern Nevada on with us? Okay, we're not seeing that author has signed on today. So we'll go ahead and I will share my screen again, and then we'll get Gretchen to tell us about our next presentation and our next sessions. So let me get back to that. Okay, Gretchen, if you want to unmute, January 13th is when our next meeting is. We always like to remind everybody to make sure that you've got it on your calendars.
Thank you, Sandra. I am so sorry I didn't get that to you this morning. I apologize, but I do have it available for us. Going to pull it back up. And I did send some confirmation emails to make sure. I know everybody's schedule's been changing around and things are happening. And so I apologize. If you guys need to swap out, we're working on how to do that. So what we have for January is we have Joel Rasmus, who's the Managing Director for the Center of Education and Research and Information Assurance and Security at Purdue. We've got June Dye, who's an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science at California State University, Sacramento, at Sac State. Then we have Kalyan Mandal, who is the associate professor of electrical engineering and the coordinator of information technology programs at Farley Dickinson University. And we have Carla Carter, who is an associate professor in the College of Science and Technology at Bellevue University. So we're really excited to have those presentations in January.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gretchen. Yeri, you want to take us into our breakout groups? And
yeah, before that, I just want to say a couple of words regarding the Cyber for All courses that we're seeing. I know that Blair posted a note in the chat area. Maybe Blair, you want to say a word or two while thinking about that. I want to remind everyone that coming up the first week of June, we are going to have the CAE Community Symposium in Atlanta. Additional information will be provided to all of you over email. The point of contacts will receive that, and it will be posted also on the caecommunity.org website. We are going to solicit some presentations, and I'm hearing from what I'm hearing, it sounds like there are a lot of efforts about the Cyber for All course to integrate into the Gen Ed in different universities, and we're all probably doing the same efforts. So maybe we can share some ideas during that event and collaborate on a workshop or a presentation. So once we send out the call for presentations for the CAE community event in early June, please join that effort and suggest a talk about your experiences.
Yeah, here, okay. So we, about 2.5 years ago, we had a meeting in California where we brought together over 20 educators across the country and produced materials for an Intro to Cyber course. So I'm really excited to hear. I think this is one of the big things you can do to make a difference in cyber at any school. With that being said, I recognize the challenges. We just got shut down in our own department to try to move our course to the Gen Ed. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, but don't get me started. But there are materials on Clark produced by this workshop. And so we came up with a set of topics. We came up with a set of hours that should be spent on each, and we have corresponding materials in each of those. So, you know, we just released them. That's at clark.center, and they're all available for you all to use. It spans everything from networking. We have a lecture from 2 lawyers at University of Maryland on legal, which I hate to teach, you know. You know, hopefully great materials that you guys can use. And then we're recently putting up a graduate course that I just taught in Intro to Cyber, where I used the cyber kill chain as the model. And that went really well. I used that as sort of the framework. So love to see more work done here. I think the time is now, right? And, you know, let me know if you have other materials. You can add it to Clark yourself, but there's some stuff to get you started.
Excellent. Thank you, Blair. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you, all the presenters, for your wonderful information sharing. We will kick off the breakout rooms in a minute.